Alright guys, so here's the comparison review for the two San Martin Classic pilots. So one of them's a more traditional pilot watch size, so it's on the larger side, the other one's a little bit smaller, so I thought it'd be interesting to compare the two, see how they differ, see how they wear on an average size wrist. But as I say, been trying them both out for a while. You might have seen me do a short a while back, so obviously this is taking a bit longer to get to than I would have hoped, but I had a bit of a backlog and then got ill, as you probably know, so I'm getting around to it now. But hopefully to make up for that, I've actually managed to get a discount code for this. So if you use the discount code HONEST10, you get $10 off. Also, they've said if you message them and let them know that you came from my channel, they'll also give you a free NATO strap. So nice little bonus. But question is, are you going to want to pick one up? If you are, which size are you going to want? Let's dive right in and find out what they're like. So here is the 40mm version. I won't show you the box because you've probably seen it plenty of times by now. It's the standard San Martin box, the new ones. And they are really nice, I do like them, because you do get some nice little bits and pieces like tools and stuff in the bottom, so quite handy. So right off the bat, you're probably going to notice a slight issue with this one, and that is the lack of AR. So it says on the listing they do actually have AR, but I think they could have done with a little bit more, to be honest, because I'm getting quite a bit of glare on this. So I'll try and hopefully avoid showing too much and try and show you the dial a bit better. Let's go to zoom in and just see what it's like. So hopefully you can see, well there we go, we've actually got a brown gradient dial, and it has got a pretty much, well, almost like textured kind of look to it. It does look really nice, do like it a lot. And then we've got that applied San Martin logo, which I know some people don't like. I actually don't mind it now, it's grown on me. When it comes to the hands, we've got brushed finish on them. Nicely done. Nicely in proportional hands as well. Got printed minute track. And then those indices, which you can see are filled with Lume. So we'll be checking out the Lume in a bit. I'll probably chuck in some macros as well, so you can see dial in a bit more detail. But it is really nice. The camera doesn't really do it justice. Hopefully the macros will do it a bit more. And let's talk about the rest of the watch. So we've got a really nice, really large onion style crown. Do like that a lot. When it comes to the case finishing, it's mainly brushed, with just polished chamfered edges. Nice little bit of detail on the bottom here. Do like that. Gonna zoom back in. Nicely finished again, as you'd expect with San Martin. And I do like the turn down on these lugs. Helps it conform to wrist really well. And then if you can probably see with that crystal, we've got a slight curve on that. And then there's a top hat style kind of crystal almost. So really nice. And as I say, the polished chamfer details on the top. Really well done. And I'll show you this strap. So it's a really nice leather strap. Really soft, really supple. Stitching's really nicely done. And it's also got quick release as well, which is always a nice touch. It's got a really nice buckle on it as well. The San Martin branding on there. And again, mixture of brushed and polished. Obviously it's quite large because it's like a pilot style watch, so you tend to have the larger buckle. But again, really nice. Nice little detail with the size. Do like the little cutout, just adds a little bit of interest to it. As I say, the quality with San Martin, as you come to expect, is just really nice.
Perfect.
So let's bring the other one in and then let's talk about the comparisons between the two. Here's a quick side by side. So you can see pretty substantial difference in terms of size in both lug width and also the actual case diameter itself. and also that onion crown too. But let's pop these down and talk about the dimensions in detail. When it comes to the diameter of these two, obviously you know this one is 40mm. With this one, the listing says it's 44.5mm, and it actually is. So as I said in the intro, more your traditional kind of pilot style sizing, but might not be for everyone. When it comes to the other dimensions, I'll probably put a chart on screen so you can see exactly what they are, but I'll run through them. So when it comes to the thickness on the 40mm, that's coming in at 12.7. With the 44.5, that's coming in at 14.5mm thick. So it's pretty thick, as well as being pretty wide. So definitely not one if you've got smaller wrists. If you're a bigger guy though, you might appreciate that sizing. This is where it gets interesting though, when it comes to the lug to lug. This one is 20mm, pretty standard. This one, interestingly, is actually 23mm. First watch I've seen that's 23mm. Pretty unusual. Going to be a little bit awkward if you do want to change straps. So, not ideal. Let me know if you've seen many watches with 23mm straps, because I haven't. This is the first one I've seen. Now, with the all-important lug to lug, well, this is where it's going to decide which watch you want. But before I tell you these, just bear in mind we have got a pretty significant curve down on those lugs. So you might want to see what they're like on wrist before you decide which one you want to go for. So with this one, the lug to lug is 48mm. I measured it underneath as well. That's coming in at 43mm, because I think that's probably a little bit more representative of what it actually wears like. Now, when it comes to the bigger one, the actual lug to lug is 54.2, which is pretty large, and I was worried it was going to wear far too big for my 7-inch wrist. But again, I measured underneath from lug tip to lug tip, and it came in about 49mm, which should suggest that it's going to be just about alright on my 7-inch wrist, because it's under that important 50mm mark for me. But as I say, I'll show you what it's like on wrist in a bit, and you can judge for yourself. When it comes to the movements on these, this is another interesting difference between the two. So with this one, you can only get it with the YN55. That's an Epson movement. Don't know why they've only done the one movement for that one, because this one you can actually get with that movement the PT5000 and also the SW200. So obviously prices are going to vary quite a bit depending on what movement you get with this one. So the starting price for this one is £189, which works out to about $233, about €222. For this one it's only slightly more, about £190, $236, €225. As I say, if you want the different movements with this one though, the price jumps up significantly. So for the PT5000, you're looking at £235. The SW200, you're looking at a pretty significant $338, which for this kind of watch might be a bit too much, I think. I think the sweet spot, if you want the high beat movement, is the PT5000. If you're not too bothered, you want something similar to an NH35, then go with the YM55. It's definitely the best value for money. So I'll quickly get rid of this one now, and then we'll carry the review on with the other one. Let's check out what the Lume's like, because obviously it's going to be the same for the two, so I won't bother showing both. So you can see that's lit up quite a bit already, but let's charge it up a little bit just to make sure. As you expect with San Martin watches though, the Lume is always really good. It's one of the things that sets them apart from a lot of AliExpress watches. And there we go. Absolutely brilliant Lume. Glowing that brightly, you can actually see it reflecting off the inside of the watch and the crystal, which is just crazy. They really are on another level when it comes to Lume. Right up there, they compete with bigger brands and micro brands, definitely in my opinion. San Martin watches on a whole, I think, tend to do that. So when it comes to the movement, I'll quickly show you that. So we've got screw down crown, and with it being onion style, really easy to grip, no issues at all. So pop it out once, we have actually got a go state position. You might be able to hear that clicking over, and as I say, this is the YN55 movement. Pop it out again, second hand stopped, so we've got hacking, and then obviously we just change the time. Pop it back in, second hand re-engages, go hand winding, and then just screw it back down. Again, no issues at all. As I say, pretty comparable to the NH35. So now let's test whether that crystal is actually sapphire. Using the trusty diamond selector too. And yeah, we have got sapphire crystal, as you pretty much expect with St. Martin watches. They tend to use sapphire crystal on all of their watches as far as I know, and this one is no exception. So all that's left to do now is show you what it's like on wrist, show you what the other one's like on wrist, and then we'll wrap this up. So this is what the 40mm looks like on my 7-inch wrist, and as I say, with those curved logs which drop right down, it does wear really, really nicely. And again, really nice comfortable strap, really nice buckle. And I do like the way the light catches those little chamfered polished details on the case. Would have liked a bit more AR on the crystal, but fantastic lume, great build quality, really good look, really comfortable. Choice of movements if you do want high beat movement, but as with most St. Martin watches, I'm definitely going to recommend this one. But you're probably wondering, what does that larger one look like on my wrist? So let's find out now. And this is what the 44.5mm actually looks like on my 7-inch wrist. So I have to admit, I was actually surprised when I first put this one on. When I took it out of the box, I thought it was going to be ridiculously big. But because those lugs curve down straight away, it does actually just about fit my 7-inch wrist, I think. As you can see, it's pretty much on the contour of my wrist, which was a nice surprise. So if you do like the more traditional sizing of this one, and you've got a 7-inch wrist, I wouldn't go any smaller than 7-inch, but this could actually be viable for you. Yeah, it's quite a bit thicker than the other one, but I think proportion-wise, it works. And again, you've got a bigger buckle as well. The only slight issue you might have if you do want to change the strap is the fact that it's 23mm. But other than that, I've been pleasantly surprised with this one. Obviously, if you're a bigger guy, this is going to be ideal for you. But let me know down in the comments, do you think this works on my 7-inch wrist, this bigger one? Because I think it just about does. Surprisingly enough. But they've obviously done a good job. Because as I say, when I took it out of the box, I thought it was going to be comically big. But I think it's just about alright. But let me know, which one would you go for? And what size wrist have you got? But that's it for this one, guys. Hopefully you found this useful, and I'll see you in the next one.